Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome. Welcome to the market close. And of course, a huge happy new year. So this is our gateway to 2026. So what can I say? We do have a red day on the market. It's it's kind of one of these days. Like, one of the interesting things is we got so much reduced volume that it's pretty easy to have have a bad market. We are, of course, this is technically the first day of the Santa Claus rally. Not seeing it yet. Not seeing it yet. But, well, we're going to take a look and see, see how things are shaping, see how things are closing up for the year, for the month. Oh boy, this is absolutely fantastic. And to kick everything off, we got Wahipple in here with a gifted membership. Gotta love it. Guys, that means we got ourselves a goat. A goat. So I'm going to explain how today works. Today's kind of an interesting day. So we had a goal. We had a goal in December with the whole Financial Express. So basically I said if we hit a certain number, we would open today up to stack them. Today's a stack 'em day, which basically means however many supers we get, for every 4, we just add another show, and we could add a lot of shows. We could add a lot of shows, but there's no real need to do that because you guys also did a perfect month. And that means that Financial Express, it continues. It will keep going until we stop it, until you guys stop it. So if we miss a day, that'll stop it. Things will go back to normal. But as of right now, there's no end in sight. And if you want to stack up the days, you can certainly do that today, because that was the other part of if we hit the, I think if we hit 16, we actually well past that, well past that. So anyway, all right, we got stuff going. We also have, oh, by the way, before I get to the charts, and I'm dying to get to the charts, we also have, of course, today's our last day for the baby New Year goat. So that means if we get to 5, we'll actually, you know what? We'll just start it right away. Every single one will get the baby New Year goat, and that means I already showed a goat for Wahipple, but Wahipple, you get the baby New Year goat. We're doing the baby New Year goat for every single one. All right, now there is also a secret goat, and the secret goat needs to be unlocked. And that's kind of the thing. I'm gonna start bringing out secret goats all the time. And the way it'll work is every time we unlock a secret goat, it'll get rid of one of the other goats. So we'll retire one of the old goats. Secret goat will take its place. But I'm not gonna tell you guys how to unlock it. I will give clues. Not yet. Maybe once a week. Once a week, I'll give a clue on how to unlock that goat. But for now, it is a secret, and maybe one of you will unlock it today. I don't know. I don't know, but it's going to be fun. I think the secret goat will be a fun little addition to the live streams for sure. Oh, all right. Now before we actually, no, there's no more befores. Let's get right into the market. Boom, bang. So the TSX, not the best day today. Pretty darn red. So we did see, well, we've seen minerals, we've seen gold, we've seen silver. Everything pulled back a little bit today. We did get that. The second half of the day, a little bit better than the first half. We actually, at one point, were down 0.5. Right now, we're down 0.33. So we are still, though, and actually look at the last hour. The last candle right now is it's fighting. It's fighting. We'll see how far that candle can get by the market close. We will point out, so right now on the month, it's looking like, oh boy, we've actually fallen back to 27.76%. Sorry, on the year. On the year, we've fallen back to 27.76%, which is still absolutely crazy number. The TSX has done really well. But this month, December, 100% green month. There's no way we can fall below that blue line, which is where we ended the last month. So yeah, everything is looking really, really rosy up here in Canada. Looking, looking south of the border, we got a story. We have a story. So the S&P 500, they've fallen back year to date 16.10%. And oh boy, they are hugging the blue line. So right now they are slightly up on the month. Actually, right now they're 0.61% on December. So we'll have to see if they can hold on. Looking at the NASDAQ. Oh boy, guys, the NASDAQ had a red December. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. They're well below that blue line. What can I say? Dow Jones. Dow Jones also having a red day, but holding on pretty good. So the Dow Jones right now down 0.54%. So that looks pretty good. Russell, oh yeah, the Russell plunged below the blue line. They are having, they're down 0.84% today. So the little stocks not doing well. All right, gold down 0.72 at this moment. So gold definitely not having the best day. Silver down 6.97%. And oh boy, even copper can't hold it today. Copper down 1.33, WTI down 0.62. And it's red in the world of crypto as well. Let's hit the heat map. Let's hit the heat map. I'm going to refresh it just because I want to make sure we got most up-to-date data here. All right, we'll get rid of the sidewall. All right, so as we can see, most of the banks are down a little bit. Not much, but a little bit. Like TD down 0.07, Royal Bank 0.05. A little bit of, most of our red right now, some of the energy stocks. So obviously our gold mining stocks are down today. You can see Barrick down 1.14. Kinross down 1%. Yeah, we got a little bit of weakness. Although yesterday when it was strong, Cogeco was actually down a little bit, but now look at them up 0.45. So yeah, it is what it is, right? Both railroads are down a little bit today, and I will say, I was looking earlier at the 0 to 100K challenge, and CNR has finally moved out of the hole. Hopefully they don't go down much today because, you know, the end of today's market is the data I use for the next 0 to 100K challenge. All right, looking south of the border, holy banana bread. I'm just going to refresh to make sure that we've earned all of that red. That's a lot of red. Yeah, look at this. It's pretty much across the board, guys. Tesla's down 0.95. Microsoft's down. Broadcom, Amazon, Eli Lilly. Oh, look, here's somebody who's up. Johnson & Johnson is up 0.08%. So, yeah. Looking pretty red. And when we move over to crypto, and I'm paying attention to the clock because I know that I talked a bit more at the beginning than I normally do. We are once again seeing, I'm going to refresh this because I thought, yeah, no, Ethereum apparently I'm going to call everything pretty flat. Well, Ethereum anyway. Bitcoin down about 0.5%. A lot of red. Look at this. XRP down 2.1. Dogecoin down 4.59. All right. It's time to pick on a coin. Well, you know what? I need to be able to scroll. I need to be able to scroll down here. All right, let's go. We're going to just pick some green coin I've never heard of. There's about 10,000. There's about 15,000 altcoins out there, guys. There's a lot of them. There is a lot. Here's one. We'll grab this one right here. All right, so here is Serenity. And we're not talking about a fancy show that got canceled by Fox. We're looking at the Serenity coin. I don't know what this does, but I actually kind of like their icon. Their icon is kind of neat there with the green flower thing. So no idea what this one does. It is worth about 3.1 cents. will not touch it with a 10-foot pole. I mean, no matter how much calmness I desire, this is not where I'm going to be looking for it. You got to be careful with a lot of these. I don't know. There's so many of them. Some of them are rug pulls. Some of them are, just don't make sense. Sometimes people make a coin just for the sake of making a coin. It's like if I made a banana coin, or a banana bread coin. Guys, don't invest in it. It's gonna be crappy. So anyway, I call these crap coins because they are like going to the casino and playing a game of craps. You're probably gonna lose. You're probably going to lose for sure. Anyway, if you do want to make money in crypto, probably not through Serenity. I'd recommend that you stick to your big coins. So here we go. Oh, look at that. Now it's scrolling in the wrong direction. Stick to your Bitcoins, your Ethereums, your XRP, your Cardano, and of course, oh boy, even the Dogecoin. Even the Dogecoin, a much safer bet. All right. Oh, there's something I do want to check here, guys. So we're 2 minutes away from the bell, but you know what? I have this feeling. I have a feeling. Let's just... All right. So who... all right. Who celebrates? We're going to try this. New Year's at 4 p.m. Eastern. I'm wondering... For somebody, it's also New Year's when we're ringing the bell to close the market. Dubai, Athens, Rome, Berlin, Paris. All right. Okay. So guys, you know what? We're a bilingual country, so we're celebrating the market close. I got the bell here. Oh, let's go big screen. And we're welcoming in the new year in Paris. In Paris. So anyway, it's a way we could sort of ring the bell together. I know in the last few years I've done a night show on this day, but now with the market closed, I was like, we can still celebrate somebody's new year. So here we go. Well, we got a little bit longer here. We got about 40 seconds. We'll do a 10-second countdown. Kind of like New Year's. I don't have any ball to drop, but use your imagination. Use your imagination. So we got about 30 seconds, and we'll get this going, and then we'll get right into the chat. See, I'm not missing the bell today. All right, we got about. I'll count you down. So of course, if you have cats afraid of the bell, that's the time to turn it down. All right, guys. Oh, it's pretty darn close here. Okay, here we go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Here we go. All right, the market is closed, and Happy New Year to Paris. All right. Holy banana bread. That was a year end, so I came onto that a little hard, but anyway, hopefully your cats aren't all running away for another part of the building. For sure. So, all right. We'll get to the cats we'll get to the chat in a second. I need to jump ahead a little bit here. I need to jump ahead because, guys, we have a scratch in with a, oh boy, it's French. All right, scratch is in with some a French super chat. I will do my best. Bon année les cousins, Brigitte et un bit. Okay. So now I'm going to try to figure out what that says. I think it's, well, obviously, bon année, happy New Year, I guess. Yeah, Happy New Year. Les cousins, to my cousins. Happy New Year to my cousins. And one of your cousins is named Brigitte, and she is a little one, a little bit. All right. I probably really butchered that. I butcher English. I mean, heck, if I butcher English, I'm going to butcher French too. So let me know how far off I was. Oh boy. All right, guys. Now let's get. Oh! Wait a minute. That, of course, is another goat shot. Another goat shot as we as the goat baby new year, baby new goat. Yeah, the baby new goat. There we go. Yeah, baby new goat eats away last year's calendar. What can I say? All right. Whew, let's get to the chat. Let's get to the chat. Jonathan starts off, am I late for 2026? Nope, it hasn't begun yet. Claude, hello. I almost 3 hours and only one stock for me in the green CCO, but just barely. Will it survive until 4? Um, yeah, CCO, we saw that when we're looking at the heat map. One of the few in the green in that sector. Zeniel says, it's been a crappy end to 2025, thinking of shifting more money into defensive like Utes and ENCL and maybe healthcare. All right, well, my prediction video, oh, guys, I've got it scripted. I've got the predictions made. So I'll be filming that tomorrow morning, bright and early. So I'll be filming that. And channel members, you will be able to watch that tomorrow afternoon. Everybody else, you'll be able to see that on Friday. Bismarcky, Happy New Year to all. Paul says, am I early? Let's see. Yes, you are. Yes, you made this at 3:39. Cowboy, greetings all. Talk about a spike downward. Yeah, absolutely. And of course, guys, Calgary. I know Cowboys in Alberta. I don't think Cowboys in Calgary. But Calgary, big water main breakage. More water main drama today. But hopefully they can get that all under control soon. Hopefully. Poor Calgary. I mean, that's one of the issues with infrastructure. There's a lot of aging infrastructure in cities. There's a lot of things that really need to be fixed. Michelle is in the house with a happy new year. Let's see. Scratch says happy New Year's Eve, fellow Mountaineers. All right. Michelle, I'm confused. Clarity is needed. Why, as a growth investor, are single stocks a good buy, and as an income investor, single stock ETFs are dangerous? I would put that the other way around. So yeah, if you are a growth, so like we're talking hybrid dividend, growth income. So if you're a growth income investor, you're not really, those all have pretty aggressive. So they're all at the money when it comes to the way they write the covered call. So yeah, those are not good for you. They're not good. Now, not to say, I mean, and it also depends on how you set up your portfolio too. So some dividends, so some growth income investors, what they will do is they'll have some of the pure income stuff, but they'll also then have some more growth oriented things as well. Or you can try to sort of maneuver down the middle. The problem is getting a lot of the really good income ones that hit all of your criteria. So basically OTM covered calls. So you're picking up growth and dividends. A lot of times to get that diversification, it's a little hard. So, with myself, I like to, I'll dabble on both sides, and I'll have those as kind of some core in the middle type thing. But no, now where they're danger, and this is one of the danger though, and this here is a danger, and this doesn't matter to me, like if you're looking at a single stock. So let's take a look at MSTE. We'll use that as an example. The problem is if the underlying asset is having issues, so in this case, the underlying asset is strategy. If they're having issues, there's nothing to save you. There's nothing to save you. That obviously that ETF has to go down. And in the case of MSTE, yeah, they've gone down big time because strategy's gone down big time. And in addition to that, the other problem that they've had as well is there's so much volatility still with, even with Bitcoin and with strategy even more so because of some of the strategies that strategy uses to basically to borrow more money and buy Bitcoin. So it does create extra pressures on strategy as well. And when you've got something that has leverage and it's aggressive cover call writings, and you've got something moving up and down a lot, it can really impact things a bit. Now, the whole general idea of these high income shares, so the whole harvest line, is basically they are for income. And if you've got the single stock doing fine, you're fine. You've got your income, and that's the general idea. You're not really looking for a lot of growth with these. However, it is the ones, like I said, like strategy, that are a little bit on the dangerous side. So I always say, for one, have a lot of confidence in the stock if it is a single stock ETF, or if, like, HHIS. I like HHIS. It is a good income fund. It's got a lot of them, but the ones that are doing well sort of help with the ones that are not doing so well. So, when tech goes down in general, because most of them are tech, HHIS will go down. But it's got a lot more stability in it because of that. So hopefully that's clarified things. If it hasn't, Michelle, just let me know, and we'll go into deeper if we need to. Vic says, let's hope for another 29% TSX gain for 2026. Yeah, we can hope for it. It's not gonna happen. I don't think it's gonna happen. I think the market will cool a little bit in 2026, but by no means are we going into a bear market. I also don't think we're going into a recession. I think the market will overall be positive for sure, but I don't think we're not going to see another 29%. What percentage will we see? Maybe 10%. Maybe 12 on a brighter note. So I'd say 10 to 12% maybe, but we're not going to see another 29, unfortunately. Elaine says Happy New Year, and we got Tom in here with a Happy New Year to all as well. Let's see, got some HHIS on sale today. Nice. Vic says ring the bell extra loud. I did. I sure did. All right. I can't even buy this dip as its ex-dividend date. Yes, good old ex-dividend date. Let's see, boat horn for the end of 2025. Let's see, pivot, it's a red day comrade, listens to Soviet Red Army choir. I will say something, like the old Soviet national anthem, actually, it's not that bad. It actually sounds pretty good. Not that I want to go back to the Soviet Union days, but I'm just saying, just the way the singing in it, if you look at it as a piece of music, not as what it represented, it certainly sounds pretty good. Scott says, good afternoon and Happy New Year in advance. Vic says CPX is ex-dividend, but price didn't dip as expected. How come? Good question. Let's take a look. Let's take a gander at CPX here. So CPX, Capital Power. Let's pull up Capital Power. Here we go. All right. Well, we got a bit of a drop here. Let me take a look here. Let's take a... Actually, let's take a look on the 1 day. So yeah, we did see it. We saw some drop, Vic. So here's the day. This is where, it did drop a little bit. So there was a bit of a drop. I'm not sure. Were you were hoping for it to be a bigger drop? You got to look at two, though. If something on ex-dividend day, yes, that the amount of money that's going to be paid out in dividends, that's subtracted from the market cap. That's why you see the drop. But if there's other factors going on that are pushing the price up, that at the same time can sort of, that's a kind of the best of both worlds. So you can get it pushed up a little bit. And I love it when that happens, because if you're doing, and I've got videos, there's a thing called dividend capture strategy. So that's where you basically go in, you buy some stocks just before ex-dividend day, to get the dividend. And then you don't sell right away, but as soon as it recovers, you then sell, you move on to your next target. So that is a strategy. It is a way to pick up a little bit of extra cash, but you want to be doing it on companies that do recover fast. And so when you're doing like an ex-dividend capture, you're doing a lot of research on that company, on the companies that you're planning to do it on, because you want companies that historically have recovered pretty fast. Because the last thing you want to do is you don't want to do a dividend capture strategy and then, be stuck at a point that if you sold it right away, you wouldn't make anything because the loss in the market value would cancel out what you made in dividends. So you want to ride it back up to a certain level before you get off. So you've at least, so it's at least worth your while to be doing it. But anyway, I digress. All right. Yeah, and Scratch is agreeing. A good anthem. The best on the planet? Oh, I don't know if it's the best on the planet, but it's definitely good. Perfect time to listen to classical concert. And yeah, Cowboy's kind of agreeing with me. CPX dipped enough. Yeah, there was a dip there. Is the secret goat a person? No, it's not. It's not. No, it's not like, we're waiting for a specific person to come into chat and instantly unlock the secret goat. But no, the secret goat is not a person. It's a goat. It's a goat. Let's see. Wealthsimple, WTS offering, Wealthsimple. Wealthsimple offering free iPhone for transfer, but first I need to find an extra 100K. All right. Well, did you check under the cushions? Sometimes. Could you just imagine somebody had $100,000 under their cushions? Well, one, I mean, the cushions would be really high. I'll just say that. The Cowboy CPX should pick up soon. They are supplying for a data center. All right, absolutely. Scratch, Candace goat would be funny. Oh boy, maybe down the road. Now I have plans for, so here's kind of like, I was talking earlier with Jill. So I'm planning a New Year's resolution goat. So that'll be ready for the next stream. So we're going to have a New Year's resolution goat and these secret goats. These secret goats, I will come up with a task or something to unlock it. And then we're going to do 4 of those. And those will replace the 4 that we, the 4 that we have now. They'll all retire and they'll be replaced with different goats. And then we'll use those through the year. Maybe we'll just start retiring those 2, or maybe we'll expand. I don't know. We'll play it. We're going to play it by ear. We'll play it by ear as we move through 2026. Now, another big thing, guys, is I really hope to hit 10,000 subscribers by the end of December. December's not a great, and I knew better than to hope, because September traditionally I find subs, like new subs, you get some, of course, but it tends to be a dip. There's always been, historically, every December, the amount of new subs compared to the month before has been significantly lower. So that means we're probably, more than likely, I can't see how we wouldn't hit it in January. So that means the countdown is on. And I did say we would do some kind of a special live stream to celebrate 10,000 subs. So I'm kind of working on some ideas. And I'll tell you, it's like, I'm not even sure where to go with that. So we've had some rejected ideas. One rejected idea was me just sitting here and naming 10,000 stock tickers. I don't even know if there are 10,000. Well, if we use the U.S. market too, there's probably more than 10,000 tickers out there. But that would be a really boring thing to watch. It would be kind of be funny, but it would lose its charm really fast. And then we also thought, well, okay, what if we did something that's 10,000 seconds long? And that way, and believe it or not, 10,000 seconds, it's like about, what is it? A little over 2 hours. So I was like, yeah, well, most of my weekend live streams are already more than 10,000 seconds, but I'm working on something. I'm working on something. I just don't know what it is yet. So we've still got about 400 and some odd to go. So, we got some time. Vic says I bought CPX at 61.50, but dropped another $3 a share. Oh, I should be big screen. If we're not using that screen, that's going to be one of my New Year's resolution is to try to go big screen when I'm not using the screen behind me. Balik is in the house with a hey all, a typo. Isn't Trump invading Venezuela? No, he will not. I don't think he's going to. Venezuela, well, one, they're a member of OPEC. Some of their friends include Russia, China. I think there'll be a lot of posturing, but I just don't. I can't see them doing it. If they do, that would be a really big mistake, I think, on the U.S. part. So I don't see it. I don't see it. All right. Claude says, why is VFV only 11.2% for 1 year versus the S&P index? I know there are currency considerations, but still. Is that the case? I wonder. Let's take a gander. I actually don't know what their 1 year is right now, but let's see if we can get it off of this. Let's go here. VFV. All right, we'll add it. Bang, boom. Whoops. we'll share this as we come in. All right, let's come in here. Yeah, let's see right here. So yeah, they're year to date, 10.13%. Yeah, and this is you must not be. Well, actually, I'm not even going to say anything. But yeah, right now 10.13%. That's yeah, that is low compared to the S&P 500. That's a really good question. Obviously, there's a few things in there. There's a management fee, but their management fee is really, really low. That's a little concerning. That is a little concerning. You know what? This is something, Claude, I think I need to do some research on this to see why. What did they do that knocked that, because I mean, the S&P 500, let's go back up here. So the S&P 500, they have 15.96. So yeah, that's a bit of a discrepancy. A little bit of a discrepancy. I would also be very interested to do so this the S&P 500 and maybe a few other S&P and do VFE and a few others that also track the S&P 500 and see how they did as well. That is interesting. Yeah. I mean, in the currency considerations, I don't think they, yeah, I would agree. This is odd. This is a little odd. Huh. And this is the first I did not even notice this, Claude. This is the first. You brought it up. That's a little odd. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that. Huh. That is really, really odd. Okay. All right. Wow. Cowboy says I'll be gathering some more CPX during this dip. Rory says it would have to dip to $50. No, you never know. SoFi got down to $10 a share, so bought 100 shares. Mark is in the house. Happy New Year's, Mark. And let's see, Happy New Year's, MF peeps. Wishing you all the best, much health and happiness in 2026. So proud to be first-gen Canadian. There we go. Nothing wrong with that at all. Cowboy, let's see. You've been holding CPX for a while. And Vic says Albertan Greg Abel starts as CPO of Berkshire tomorrow. That is right. That is right. So yeah, today is officially Warren Buffett's last day. Now, here's the thing, guys. If you think Warren Buffett's gone, he's not. He's still going to be around a little bit in the background, but he just won't be. He just won't be the CEO. He will still have his fingers in things. So. You won't. It's not like you're never going to see Warren Buffett again. He'll still have his fingers in things within Berkshire Hathaway. He's just not running the ship. But the thing is, well, some of the thing I've read about Berkshire Hathaway is that even while he's been CEO, they really, it's really been sort of a decentralized environment. So I have a feeling they're gonna do fine. I think they're gonna do fine. All right. Um, Hugimelo says, my resolution for next year is to never ever invest in covered call ETFs. They are a scam. Happy New Year. All right. Well, I don't think it's so much that they're a scam. You've got to really have your eyes open. You got to understand what you're getting into when you get into covered call ETF. So the big thing to understand, of course, is that loss of upside potential. So when you do get into a cover call, yeah, you're losing some of that upside, but in exchange, you're getting income for it. So you have to, and this is the whole thing. And I guess this is where I think there needs to be a lot more education on covered calls, because when you look at them, there's different types. So, and I've started bringing the terms in a little bit just to sort of get you guys a little bit acquainted to them. So, like, there's at the money. Those are the aggressive ones. Those are the ones that have much, um, much higher dividends, but you get almost no upside on them because they're writing at the money, which means that if it's a $10 asset, they're writing a covered call for $10. So right away, you're at the strike price already for anybody who takes it, but you can charge a lot more, and you're more than likely that is going to get, that option will get exercised, but you're getting that higher premium, and that's how they can make some of these bigger dividends. When those assets go down, though, yeah, of course it goes down as well. It's not the best situation. It's not the best situation. Now, the other type, of course, is when we start to look at out of the money, so OTM. So those ones there, those are written with, well, with both ideas. So when you look at something like bank, of course, and you'll get growth. Well, here, let's actually pull bank up. Let's do that right here. All right. All right. So here is bank. So this here's your Evolve, Canadians and Life Cos. All right. So yeah, let's pull up that 1 year, and you can see, we can see the growth in there. The reason they're able to get that growth is that they're not writing at the money. They're writing out of the money. They're giving room for that fund to grow. And that's a great way to get some growth. But at the same time, your yields are not going to be crazy high. So look at this. Like, look at the yield on bank. We'll come down here, 13.489%. So, once you start going over, I usually say once you start going over 15%, to me, that's where things really get aggressive. And there's other people who say once you go over 10%, that's aggressive. So you have to be kind of careful. You have to understand what you're getting into. But here's the beautiful thing: you can have a half decent income without touching covered call ETFs. There are other options. You could even have a pretty good income with just single company stocks, so just regular stocks. You can get there. It's not going to be the crazy high income that you're getting with covered calls, but there are definitely ways that you can do it. There's ways you can do it for sure, but it's really important, though, and anybody getting into covered calls, it's really important to just understand what you're getting into, understand what you're giving up, and make sure that that's right for your portfolio. It's not right for everybody. If you're young and you've got a big road in front of you, unless you really want to go into covered calls, and there are some that do, like JJ does, but otherwise, to me, like if I was 20, I would not be looking at, I might look at a few just because it's fun to get dividends, but for the most part, my portfolio would be mostly dividend, your dividend growth, just to grow, get everything bigger. Retirement, that's a different story. Retirement, I want that income. So yeah, covered calls are going to be the way that I can create some pretty good tax-free income coming out of the TFSA. All right. Anyway, we'll definitely talk a lot more about this in the new year for sure. Bismarcky, can we make an altcoin and make a small fortune? That would be fun. Cowboy, I bought shares of CPX in 2020, just held on. Firefly was a great show. I know, Firefly was awesome. Firefly was awesome. All right. Vic says, how about levered cover call ETFs? Yes. Oh, gosh, I'm taking a look here. 357. All right. I'm like, this was just before the bell. Oh my gosh, I'm about a half an hour behind. What can I say? Oh boy. Let's see. Cowboy, 2-minute warning. Shall the bell toll for us on time? It did. Oh, and I just see something in here. Guys, we have a $20 super sticker coming in from Scratch. All right, so here, what's everyone's prediction for 2026? I have 2 to share, one economic and one not related. I know the second one will get your attention. I wish everyone a great year, and I wish this channel to grow. Thanks, Candace, for everything. Oh, you're welcome. So are those the 2 predictions, though? Let's see. I wish everyone a great year, or maybe not. Okay. Well, hopefully the predictions are going to come. Going to come right after that. But yeah, absolutely. And thank you for all of your support in 2025, Scratch. You've definitely been a positive in the chat for sure. All right. And now, in case somebody was wondering, it's like a $20 super chat. Surely that unlocked the secret goat. It did not. It did not. There are the secret goat is locked behind one thing and one thing only. I will give you a hint. I said I would give you a hint next week, but I'll give you one hint. 5. There's the hint. All right. Let's get back to where I was about. And the funny thing is this sticker, we're about a half an hour behind Scratch. We're about a half an hour behind, but that's fine. All right, I will try to speed things up a little bit. But if you guys do really have something you want me to address immediately and not wait a half an hour, either a super sticker or super chat, or if you're a channel member, you have that free one that you get every month. You get a free super chat that you can use. Use that as well, because that will then get highlighted for me and I can pull it up a bit sooner for you. All right, Cowboy says, good friend, Claude. All right, not quite for the second sentence of Scratch, but I think you'll want to know. Let's see, Calgary's all wet. Edmonton is nice and bone cold, dry. Yes, poor Calgary. They got another water main break. Ian says, down 10K today, but I'm not going to complain. 2025 was good to me. Yeah, 2025 has been a fantastic year, guys. Scratch, wish everyone is safe. Wish everyone the best. The joys of not maintaining. And Calgary was warned years ago that this could happen. Gondek did nothing. Boy. Well, I think the scary thing is, guys, is, yeah, it's happened now twice to Calgary, but there's a lot of cities that have a lot of old infrastructure. I was going to say Toronto has a good amount of old infrastructure too. So, Montreal, and we've seen things happen in Montreal, but I think this is going to become more of a norm than not until things get updated, and things will get updated for sure. It sucks that it takes something like this to have it happen. Scratch, they never do what should be done. They just want to stay in power. Yeah. Michael says, hello, Candace. Any thoughts on Kraken Robotics? Took a small position at close to $5 a few months ago and tempted to sell and repurchase later, as I think it's peaking. All right, let's take a look at Kraken. All right, and I know we've looked, and Michael, we've looked at Kraken a few times, but I do like Kraken. I will say that right now. Here we go. Kraken Robotics. Boom, bang. All right, let's take a look here. All right, and so yeah, look at this. Just a year ago, like $2.60 some odd cents, and right now it's up at $6.40. So yeah, they've been doing really, really good. And here's the thing, though. Robotics in general, they're kind of just coming to the stage. Like their time is just starting. So, is Kraken Robotics peaking? I kind of don't think they are. I kind of think we could see some more movement on this. Not to say there's nothing wrong with taking profits. Maybe there might be a correction before they move up again, because that is a normal part of investing as well. So just something I would keep in mind. Now, I will point out as well, let's go into the back end. All right, let's see here. Return on equity right now, 11.18%. Still not bad for where they're at. I'd like to see that a little higher, but this is the part I love. Look at this, 6% debt to equity ratio. That's really, really good. So yeah, good company. I would take profits. I don't know if I would get completely out, but Michael, obviously, if you do get out, hopefully you will get a correction down the road that you can get back in at a good entry point. All right. Let's see. She had issues with her green policies, like no bags at fast food restaurants, extra charges for condiments. She wanted to cancel Stampede on last water main break. Oh, you can't cancel the Stampede. I'm sorry. You can't cancel the Stampede. Like the Calgary Stampede, quite literally, is bigger than Christmas in Calgary. It's huge. That's a way to... Just mentioning canceling the Stampede is pretty much the end of your political career in Calgary, as far as I'm concerned. All right, Paul says, my holding showed up in my RRIF at 1 a.m. Today, PST today. Nice. So used an RRIF calculator. If it had 15% return each year, it would still really grow almost too much. Sometimes you got to wonder, is that a problem, though? Is it a problem to have something growing faster than you can spend it? Yeah, it's probably more taxes, but, it is what it is sometimes. Praise Stalin. Oh, boy. Oh, yes, we're back to the Soviet anthem as well. I remember hearing it from like back in the day when they used to have, and this is going to date me a bit, the Canada Cup. They used to have like all of the main countries, and back then that was with the Soviet Union and everything. You used to hear it all the time because you always hear the themes during the hockey games. And I know my grandparents used to, they were very avid hockey watchers, and Canada Cup was always on. The Scratch says, don't need to praise Stalin. We have the Trudeaus and Carney. Oh boy. Kalinka is good too, and a few others. Is there a lowercase power? Mary is in the house with a happy new year, guys. Mary is our official captain of the like button. So if you haven't yet, hit it. Just please give that like a quick little hit. I'm gonna have some coffee here while you guys divvy up the like button. Excuse me. The old anthem, Praise Stalin. And you see, this I didn't even know because I couldn't understand a word of it. I think just it was kind of the whole choir thing altogether. That's what I think I liked about it. But all right, Raj is in with a hi, mom, or hi, ma'am. Hi, mom, ma'am, ma'am, mom. All right, let's see. We can agree Stalin was nowhere near as horrible as Stalin. Oh, oh boy. All right, I have a message. I have a message you on Blossom for a portfolio suggestion. Reply me when you have time. Thank you. Oh, perfect. Thank you for letting me know too, because I don't always check that every day. Although, and you guys probably saw this yesterday, they're starting to put it in here. They're starting to. I'm not going to click on it right now because I don't want to share private messages with everybody in chat. Otherwise, people won't. But I'm going to be able to access it here, and that'll make it a lot easier for sure. So I like that a lot. All right. Rory says Stalin was a very bad man. That's all I can say without getting kicked out. Okay. Let's see. I'm going to start skipping ahead a few things just because, not because of Stalin, but because of, and I just saw this, just because we don't have, I'm so far behind. Ian says, read all 10,000 names of the subscribers. I actually suggested that. And Jill was like, oh, you can't. You couldn't even do it. Actually, I don't even know how I could pull that. I don't even know if I could get that full list off of YouTube. Like, but that would be funny. Happy New Year to all from Max. Happy New Year, Max. All right. Jonathan says, I'm more worried about China invading Taiwan than the U.S. invading Venezuela. I would agree. I think the China-Taiwan, I think there's a higher percentage chance of that happening. I mean, China's been doing a whole bunch of stuff with the Taiwanese airspace, so closing it off. So yeah, I could see something happening there, but a lot more than the Venezuela thing. Isn't VFV hedged to the CAD, so extra costs? It is, but it's still, that's a big difference. I can't see. I have to take a look. I do have to take a look. Let's see, compare it to VOO. Yeah, absolutely. Now VFV has a dividend. It does. It's not a big dividend though, but keep in mind that when you look at those returns, right, those are the undividend returns on both of them actually. So, you know, the dividend shouldn't really play a part in that, but we'll definitely have to take a look and see if that hedge to the Canadian dollar, could it really have influenced things that much? Because here's the thing, the Canadian dollar's been remarkably stronger this year, you know, and it's done okay. So that's why I'm a little bit skeptical, Is it that VSP? All right, and I think that was. Is VFV equal weight where VOO isn't? Just a thought. I don't think VFV is equal weighted though, because VFV is supposed to be pretty much the same as VOO, just of course hedged to the Canadian dollar. So that'll be interesting. Yeah, I need to look in that. I really do. I found that a little odd. Let's see. Al says 2025 was a great year. Let's do it again. I mean, I think 2026 will be a great year, but for different reasons. Cowboy. Oil companies are closing up and leaving California because of the Newsom taxes and policies. The state could be going the be short on gas, diesel, etc. as refineries are closing. Well, you know, Gavin Newsom is actually, from last I heard, I think he's planning to go for the Democratic nomination for the next U.S. Presidential race. So, you know, it could be Newsom versus J.D. Vance, maybe, or you never know. I mean, Donald Trump once made a comment during his first term that he'd like to get his son Donald Jr. to become the president after him. We'll have to see if it feels like a bird-brained idea, but nothing surprises me coming out of Trump. So who knows? Rory, San Diego has thousands of solar panels in the desert. Windmills, not sure it's going to support 20 million people in South Cali. Yeah. Let's see. Mark, oh my gosh, guys, I'm only 20 minutes behind now. Warren remains as chairman and says he'll be going into the office 5 days a week. When you love your job. Loving your job is really, it's the key to happiness. The key to happiness for sure. Paul, CAD has improved over the last 2 weeks versus USD, so that would be why VFV has done worse than VOO. Act as Hugmilio. I never know if I'm saying Hugamelo's name correctly. So Hugamelo, let me know if I'm saying it right. Let's see. Take a look at HDiv and explain what part is a scam. No, HDiv is another really good one. I mean, obviously we're once again, HDiv, you're doing OTM, so you are getting a lot of that upside in there, and that's another beautiful one, absolutely. And here, let's take a look. Let's just take a quick look at HDiv as well here, because boop-a-doop-boo. There we go. HDIV, bang, boom, bringing it up. All right, let's grab that 1 year. So look, I mean, yeah, look at this, another good one. And you'll notice this actually looks a lot very similar to Bank, but both of them, you know, they are doing that beautiful thing. And if you are that person who, you know, is growth income, then these are great ETFs for it. Great ETFs. I will. Once I get through the initial prediction videos, I will have a video this year, not this year, no, I will have a video very early in January. I want to do a really good one for growth income. All right, and I already got ideas in my head for the thumbnail for it, so it's brewing. It's brewing. Ian says, watched a Berkshire Hathaway clip from 2025. Warren sounds a lot older this year. It was the right time to step aside. Yeah, and like I said, and I think Mark, Mark mentioned as well. Yeah, he's he's still part of the company. He's still going to be working. He's just not running the ship anymore. That's the only thing. And I said, funny, I was thinking Mark, but I was looking at Tom's next comment. So yeah, Tom says, Air Canada, $25 in 2026. It's a possibility. I definitely think they're going to hit my target in 2026. And well, here, let's take a look. I mean, Air Canada has actually been doing pretty good lately. Oops, here we go. Air Canada, boom. So right now they're currently sitting at 19.29. So I have in the challenge, I'm actually running a small little Air Canada swing. So any month where they drop below $19, I'm buying some, and then I will be selling when they get to 20. I think I said 21. So we're I think we have a chance. Let's actually pull up. I'm going to pull up the 1 year. So you can sort of see they've really, like they had this really bad, beginning of the year. But yeah, since then, other than, yeah, they've had a peak. Like here's one peak where they got up to 23. So I think Air Canada will have a pretty solid year. Now this here seems to be like a good support level around the 18. I would say from 17.90 to 18. So that's building into a good support level. And with that in place, I'm sure that they can pull themselves up a little bit. So I expect that swing trade to probably finish definitely first quarter. I think first quarter I'll probably be out of the Air Canada trade on the thing. Now, outside of that, I'd love to see I'd love to see Air Canada come back down to 17 something. Because then I'll jump in as well in my trading account again, because I am ready to get back into Air Canada. Rory, I think Warren may have his exit papers this year. Paul, when I journaled DLR.U to DLR, got less CAD because CAD improved. So currency coming in there. Always a consideration anytime you're moving anything, no matter how you're moving it from Canadian to US. Currency can come in and can certainly be a factor. So one of the things I like to do is, like, when I maintain a US account, I usually will like to move things over once, and then I'll leave that US money there. And I don't like to move things back and forth as much as I can help it, just for the simple reason that I don't want currency conversion or, or journaling fees in this case. I don't want any of that to be a factor more than it has to be. Bismarcky, not all covered calls are created equal. Exactly. And keep in mind, guys, 2026, and I actually got a prediction in tomorrow's video, well, Friday's video for the non-channel members. I do see this explosion of ETFs continuing into 2026. And, not all of them are going to be good. I'm just going to say that right now. And even now, with the new ones that are out there right now, we can't guarantee that they're all going to be good. Like, yeah, I like 60. But there will be some stinkers in there, and we'll have to sort through them as the year and as we get some history for sure. Michelle, thank you. Thanks for the answer, Candace. Still confused about single stock question. I understand if it's a hugely volatile stock like MSTE, but say owning NVIDIA stock or the income investing ETF for NVIDIA. Okay, so here's the thing with NVIDIA. So when you're looking at a single stock of NVIDIA, that one's a safer bet. It's a much safer bet than something like Strategy, which is tied to the price of Bitcoin, which is known to have a lot of volatility. So yeah, I mean, if the underlying company is a good company, if you have a lot of faith in them, they're probably going to be fine. So things, for example, like NVIDIA, Microsoft, more or less, I would say Meta, Amazon, I think those are all going to be fine. Now, will you have periods where they go down a bit? Sure, but you're not going to get some of the crazy stuff that you were seeing with something like Strategy. So yeah, I mean, but nonetheless, still remember they are aggressive. They are at the money covered calls, which basically means higher payouts, so you're getting more income, but you are trading. So when you trade away all of your upside, of course, you want a lot of income for that. So if you are a younger investor, does that make sense? It may not. The reason it may not make sense is that you may not just need that income. You may just want, total return is always kind of like the king in most situations, except for, and this is the one exception. I think this is what muddies the water, is when you look at a retirement portfolio, if you're living off of the money that you're pulling out of that, let's say out of your tax-free savings account. So if you are living off of that income, in that case, the income then trumps the total return, because you may be like, I don't care if it grows, as long as the income stays stable, I'm happy. So like a perfect one for that would be like Utes. So when you look at a company like Utes, and and when we look at an ETF, so Utes is it's an evolved one. It's Canadian Utilities. All right, now this one is it's not designed to grow. It's designed to give you income. That's its main function. And you can see, yeah, sure, you got a little bit of growth here, a little bit of growth, but when you look at it overall, that's pretty flat. And that's perfectly fine, because this one is designed to give you income. They're not giving you a lot of upside. They're really not. They're giving you income. And that's why you get, like, look at this, 18. So remember how I said when you get over 15, you're usually getting pretty close to at the money, and that's what we got going on here. So they're not writing this to grow. They're writing this to give you the income. Now, in a retirement portfolio, yeah, this one's a great one to have. It's a really good one to have. If you have it in your TFSA and it's just going to give you the income, you're not going to get the growth. Even if it comes down a little bit, you don't care. It doesn't matter. You know that it's sort of, even look at this, Liberation Day, when it went way down, it bounced all back, and it will always tend to sort of try to find an equilibrium on there. But that's kind of the whole general idea of the difference. I think I really need to do an ATM versus OTM video. I think I do. It's on my list. It's on my list of ones that definitely have to do. All right, Paul says HDIV and HYLD did well. Yeah, HYLD is another one. Those are both great funds, like HYLD. Once again, you are getting, you've got the cover calls, but they're not at the money. They are out of the money. You are getting a little bit of growth from that. So you're getting a bit of both worlds, which is great. I love that. All right. ZDV, BMO fund did well too. I own that one. Yeah, I will say this one thing: ZDV, all of their covered call funds are out of the money. They're not aggressive in any way, shape, or form, but that makes sense. They are, they're controlled by a bank, a big six bank. The banks tend to not get very aggressive. So if you're looking for non-aggressive covered call funds, ZDV or any of the Z ones. Those are definitely non-aggressive for sure. Rory, XEI is a tad better though, higher div. Brank is probably under 10% on the cover calls and the rest is dividends. Well, yeah, like when we're talking about the yields, yeah, absolutely. A good chunk of that yield is made up of dividends because the banks have pretty good dividends for sure, 100%. But keep in mind, they are giving you that room to breathe. And guys, if you haven't seen that interview that I've had with Raj from Evolve, and he was even started talking a little bit about how sometimes pulling back on the amount of that portfolio that the cover calls are on during during a solid upside, strong bull rush, how they will do stuff like that over there at Evolve so that they can get a bit more of that upside for the people investing in the fund. Ian says covered calls are magic. No, they're not. Covered calls are not magic. It's kind of this thing, like you don't get money for nothing. Covered calls have a mechanic that they work, and you have to sort of understand the way they're working, how you are losing, how much you're losing, how of the upside versus the income. And that's why I always say, don't get mesmerized by yield. If you want to get impressed, look at total returns. And if those are good, then it's time to go, holy banana bread, for sure. So let's see. Cover calls are magic. 15% is about the max you can expect. Maybe 15 is unrealistic in a down year. Yeah, and keep in mind too, as well, like a lot of the newer ones, we have not yet seen how the management teams are going to handle the next bear market. So that's going to be interesting. Luckily, we don't have to worry about that. I don't think we have to worry about that in 2026. But it's still going to come. It will come. Maybe 2027. Not sure yet, but we'll see. We'll see how this year is going to roll out. How it's going to roll out. All right. Oh boy. Very good coffee. Oh, by the way, guys, what are your plans for tonight? Do any of you got any parties planned? A quiet night at home? Maybe you're going to be like me and watch the series finale of Stranger Things. I'm kind of curious to know, what are you guys up to tonight? Let me know as well in the chat here as I get caught up, as I try to get caught up. Paul says Harvest TSLY is about 33% yield, but the underlying TSLA is really volatile, but overall trending up. Some single stock cover call ETF do okay if underlying does well. Excess income is going to HYLD and HDIV. Yeah, and that's what I was getting at as well. Like, with it, like when we're talking about NVIDIA, for example, obviously NVIDIA does pretty good. That stock, you're not going to get a big fall. And you don't get that same kind of volatility. Sure, there's ups and downs on every stock, but not like constant. Excuse me. A Cowboy says Warren will be the main talking point for investors for years to come. Agreed. Moose Jaw is really hurting because of old cast iron water mains. Yeah. And once again, infrastructure. I did this thing actually back when we used to do some news on This Week. I had a news story. Oh my gosh, it was probably a year more ago. We were just looking at some of the infrastructure needs and some of the costs to get everything up to par. It was crazy. It was actually crazy how bad the infrastructure is. And we're not just, you know, and it's bad in Canada. It's just as bad in the States. It might even be worse in parts of the States. Rory says, not sure about Saskatoon or Regina's water systems. Yeah, like a lot of the pipes in the ground, guys, have been in the ground for a very long time. So, you know, it's not the best. It's not the best. IPEX Blue Brute is the standard for water mains now. Let's see, BMO suite of ETFs often pay special payouts at the time of year. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, towards the end, like usually right about this time of year, actually. Rory, BMO's ETFs, I think it is for tax purposes for special divs. Will Mary keep her mantle of captain of the like button in 2026? Stay tuned to know. You guys don't have to stay tuned to know. Mary's awesome. Mary keeps her job. Mary keeps her job as long as she wants it. As long as she wants it, it's her job. Rory, I see 4 lights. Captain Picard. I love it. Yeah. And that's actually, I think it's a meme as well now as well. But that was probably one of the best episodes of Star Trek The Next Generation ever. Very well played. Patrick Stewart, just phenomenal acting. Phenomenal acting in that episode. Paul says, with TSLA closing today at 449.72, selling in TFSA at 486.50 for a half and 487.16 for last half, sounds like a genius move, but more like luck. And the TSLA CDRs were sold at the corresponding prices. All right. All right. All right. Let's see here. Vintage Star Trek reference. Picard and a Kardashian. Actually, really funny. So when I moved, the first time I moved to Ottawa, I was listening to the radio, and they kept talking about, there's a mall here called Bay Shore. But whenever they kept saying Bay Shore, I thought they were saying Bajor. So like from Deep Space Nine, the Bajorans. I was like, Bajor? What? Why? Do we have a place called Bajor here? Anyway, to me, that was just, it was funny. Giveaway, $10,000 to one lucky subscriber. Yeah. No. No to that one. Vic says, Putin wants to be badder than Stalin, and Trump wants to trump Kennedy. Mary should next time ask everyone, how many likes do you see? I know, I like that. I like that. Sometimes you have to refresh to actually see how many likes there are. Cowboy, I think the American dollar failed more, causing the Canadian dollars to look better. Correct. Yeah, absolutely. A big part of the strength in the Canadian dollar was the faltering of the American dollar. So it's almost like Canada. We had a good year, but you know, it looks a lot better when when the U.S. dollar falls, considering we measure it to the U.S. dollar. Let's see, Tiger turned 50 and still with Vanessa Trump. Bush 2 was a real wise man. Can see Trump 2 being the same. Let's see here. Reagan was the best. Scott says, I accidentally bought some SJ today because I had an outstanding limit buy and wasn't paying attention. Worse things have happened. Yeah, you always want to pay attention to those limit buys. That's for sure. All right, now guys, we do have, we got ourselves a super sticker coming in from Claudia. This is fantastic, $2. It's fantastic for a couple of reasons. One, we get to see the New Year goat. We get to see the New Year goat again. 2, as I mentioned, every time we get 4 in this episode, it's adding a show. So this here is, we got a show on Monday. We now got a show on, so we already got Friday, we got Monday as well. So there we go, 1 day added, just like that. Bang, boom, done. All right. And with that being said, well, we got Jordan in the house with a happy New Year, Candace. Hope you're well, doing fantastic. Saw that picture on Facebook of you, Jordan. You look great. You look great. Just thought I would mention that. Let's see. Cowboy just received 3 dividends. Nice end to the day / year. You gotta love dividends. Paul says, Candace, your taxes on the swing trades must be fun if done in non-registered account. Um, well, it's not that they're fun. They're very straightforward because it's 100% taxable. So it is business income versus business losses. So yeah, it's pretty simple. I just, I get basically I get summaries of all the trades I've made, and then I just add it all up. Add it all up. Rory says got paid by CN yesterday. Nice. Yeah, and CN has a pretty nice dividend. Let's see, more coming next week. Reagan's trickle-down theory never trickled down to end users. The U.S. paychecks have never been that higher for average blue collar. All right. Okay, now, as you guys remember, I was asking Scratch what those predictions were, and we got one of them here. So I think that tech will start to have issues because of physical constraints in 2026, and that we might see capital rotation into under the radar sections. Okay, interesting, interesting. I have predictions that sort of tie a little bit into this. That's going to be in the prediction video. Oh, and guys, as always, save your predictions. Throw them in the comments of that prediction video. And when we go over it next year, I will bring up the comments and we'll take a look and see what you guys threw in there. Why not? It's fun. So if, I'll just point this out, if you don't want me to look at your comments on the air, then don't make them. When it comes to the prediction video, every other video, you're safe. You're safe. But on that prediction video, I will pull it up and we'll look at the comments. I won't read out loud your comment if it's a non-prediction, but if it's a prediction one, we're going to look at it at the end of the year. So just giving you guys a heads up. All right. Michelle, shoot, gotta go. If you answer my question, I'll watch after the live ends. Happy New Year all. I think I answered her question. I think I did. I hope I did. Cowboy, let's see. Reagan wiped out many unions and that flattened wages benefits. You mentioned money for nothing about cover calls, but that reminded me of that MTV has called it quits. That's right. MTV, no more today. Yeah, and of course, the money for nothing video was definitely a big one on MTV back in the day, for sure. All right. Whoops. I don't know what I did now. Let's see here. Here I am, right here. Bismarcky says Canada versus Finland in hockey tonight. Oh, nice. Go Canada. Go Canada. Money for nothing causes some people to be offended. Yeah, there's a word in it. There's a word in it that isn't a nice word anymore. All right, Jordan says, we were going to go over to my sister's and Ken's. However, a lake effect snowstorm has settled in and we're in for a dumping. The roads are slippery, so we're not going. Oh, wow. That reminds me, Jordan, back in my childhood, I was about 12, and my family were all going to have a big New Year's Eve party over at my aunt's place, and it's probably about a 7-8 minute drive to my aunt's. So they all went there, and I was hanging out with my cousin, and we got an ice storm that night, and this was in Nova Scotia, and the funny part is they couldn't leave the party at the end because all of their cars were frozen to the driveway. So basically, I didn't. Me and my cousin, we hung out pretty much until the middle of the next day before they could finally get themselves all chipped out and get themselves on the road. But holy cow! Anyway, yeah, that sometimes it's just better to stay in, find something good to watch. Zenial says ECHI has been outpacing Canny and HHIC by a lot. Could this be likely due to OTM calls? Bingo. Or could there be more to do with the specific companies? It's going to be both, but and I had a conversation, obviously the interview that I have on the channel right now with the two guys from 9 Point, we talked about quite a bit. But after, and this is what I said, after I turned off the record and we were still talking, we're talking. We probably talked for a good 20 minutes after that thing, and a lot of different things. Like one, like Chris was really interested in YouTube. I wanted to know a bit about that. So, but they were talking a little bit about some of their overall investment strategies, and how OTM calls are for them make just a lot of sense because they don't want they don't want their customers, clients, they don't want their funds. They just don't want them to be losing all of that upside. And they even said they don't like to see yields getting too big because of aggressive writing. So it was a really good conversation. I really wish I had been still recording because there was a lot in there. Well, there's probably a lot in there I probably still wouldn't have been allowed to play, but there were definitely some gems in there for sure. I meant to say covered calls are not magic. Okay, that makes a lot more sense, Ian. That makes a lot more sense. Because, yeah, I was stumbling a little bit over the covered calls are magic. Claudia, Happy New Year, everybody. Cowboy, some covered calls are magic. What, your money vanishes? Yeah, sometimes. Sometimes. Um, Let's see. I don't know what is going on with those pipes, but I remember that iron pipes are still great because they prevent thunderstorm fire since thunder is grounded. Okay, interesting. Bayshore. Bayshore. Yeah, there we see. They sound the same. All right. Joking with you. Oh, that's fine. I don't mind. I got a good sense of humor. Freezing rain tonight, maybe. Yikes. Let's see. If Trump wanted to trump Kennedy, he should have stood more still at that rally. Oh boy, Scott. Be careful saying stuff like that. That's kind of on the line. Kind of on the line. But you've earned the second half of your name with that one. Mario says, good afternoon, everyone. And as for covered calls, I like out of the money a bit better for total growth. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's see, Rory, guess we're not meant to travel. The weather has been holding me hostage. All right. And let's jump on over here. Pamina has dropped a nice dividend. Yes, I like Pamina. Pamina is right now I'm only getting exposure to them through PPLN, which is a pipeline ETF, but I still like the videos. Absolutely. Well, here's a funny thing. I was in Sea Cadets, right? And we went to a regional championship. It was somewheres. Oh, where was it? I think it was. I don't know where it was. It was somewhere. It was somewheres in Ontario, anyway. But we decided that we were going to intimidate every other team. So in unison, we all sang "We're not going to take it" for every single game. Yeah, it didn't work. We lost, but it was still fun. We did that, and and the polka dot door. Eventually, when we aren't going to take it wasn't working, someone said, "Let's try the polka dot door" to throw them off their game. And yeah, anyway. And another funny thing, guys. I don't know if you guys know this. Twisted Sister trivia. So when D. Snyder, I think that's his name. So when D. Snyder was writing We're Not Gonna Take It, he didn't have the music yet. So he played "O Come All Ye Faithful." He was playing that as he wrote it. So when you listen to it, and especially if you listen to the Twisted Sister Christmas album when they do "O Come All Ye Faithful," every so often they even throw in some of the direct music from "We're Not Going to Take It" into it because they're pretty much kind of the same song in a way. But yeah, it's anyway. Twisted Sister trivia. Who knew that was going to happen today? I did not. All right. Danielle says, I predict there will be a lot of new cover call ETFs, and we know which one to buy, and we won't know which one to buy. Correct, 100%. Actually, that is a prediction that I do have in the video that's coming out, the next video. So, let's see. Maybe later I'll binge watch Don Rickles. Okay, why not? Why not? Pudding Grove. I predict the market will either go up or down or continue to move sideways before making a major minor move to the upside downside of my previous prediction. Guaranteed. Pudding, I think you can say that with 100% confidence. I think you can. Oh, that's something I did add, guys. I'm adding this to the predictions this year. My level of confidence in each prediction. So I've come up with a number. There's none of them that are 100% because, you know, there's no such thing as a 100% prediction. But yeah, I'm adding confidence levels as well, just because that way there, you know, when we're looking at them. So for example, the Black Swan event that I predict, the confidence is going to be very low on that. In fact, if the confidence were above 50%, I wouldn't call it a Black Swan event. So I think I actually gave that one a confidence level of about 25%. But anyway, it's going to be a good video. Cowboy says Biggie and HBTE are down the most in my portfolio. Okay, fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, Biggie has struggled a little bit. Biggie has certainly struggled. HBTE is one that I'm actually okay with HBTE. I have added, like I did add more in December to the portfolio because when it's down, that's when I'm going to buy. So I still have a lot of confidence in HBTE. So yes, it is highly tied to Bitcoin. However, it's not directly tied to Bitcoin. So it has some Bitcoin, but it also has all of the Bitcoin miners. And yes, there's even some strategy in there as well. But at the same time, I think it's a good. I think it's good. I think it's going to do well. It's not one that I'm not losing hope on that one at all. So, and keep in mind, HBTE is designed not for growth, but for income. So it is. I don't know where they're writing their calls at, but if it's not at the money, it's close to the money. But yeah. All right. The Scratch says, I see my crystal ball that the Stanley Cup is coming back to Canada, and it will be the same team that won it 3 decades ago that will win it. So Montreal. So you're seeing a Montreal win. Now, are you seeing the Montreal win this year, or well, maybe. Well, it's hard to say. It's hard to say. But you know, I think Montreal has a pretty good team. Let's see here. Rory says, with Gary Bettman in command, never. Mark my words. Go Habs, go. Maybe Oilers. Polkaroo. Yeah. Oh boy. Claude says, I prefer all other 31 teams than the Habs. Old Nordiques fan here that never turned the page. Well, Claude, you probably liked. I remember seeing recently that the Avalanche got permission to wear the Nordiques jerseys for a game. I think the game may have already happened, but at least you got a little bit of that back. Scratch, as long as it is in Canada, but not the Leaves, actually. So anybody but Toronto is basically what Scratch is saying. Anybody but Toronto. Here we go. Rory, Leafs are basement dwellers this year. Marner is in greener pastures. Let's see. I remember when it was 6 teams and you knew all the players' names. 6? Cowboy, how old are you? Like, wasn't that like that? I don't know when they expanded from 6, but it was definitely before I was born. All right, let's see here. 5 Celsius out on the West Coast, still getting colder at night, down to 0. Oh, that's so cold. This morning when I was taking the garbage out, it was wind chill of minus 24. So, but on the bright side, I didn't feel any wind. I didn't get hit by any wind. Let's see. Remember JoJo Psychic Alliance? She didn't predict her bankruptcy. Oh, yes. There was also Miss Cleo. If you guys remember, Miss Cleo was there too. Like that used to be a running joke, right? I'm going to call Miss Cleo. So what can I say? Scott says, now that we have Biggie, a competitor should come out with 2-pack. We'll have to see. Oh, boy. Bobby Orr would have been much fun to watch. Probably, yeah. Like, probably, I guess the oldest iconic players that I can remember would be that I've watched. Some of the old Montreal Canadiens, like Guy Lafleur, Larry Robinson, Ken Dryden. I remember Ken Dryden. Because, yeah, like, you know, I used to spend, like, all my weekends I spent at my grandparents' growing up, and Hockey Night in Canada, mainstay. You know, it's just like, you know, that was Saturday night. Uh, and I remember as well, they used to have an animation on Hockey Night in Canada. I think it was called Peter Puck, because I used to always get excited if Peter Puck came on during one of the intermissions. But all right, Claude says there were only 6 teams. The league was named Sixy. Yeah, at one point. Yeah, Sixy. Pierre says, I'm down around $600 on HBTE. I guess solution is to buy more. I don't see how I recover this loss through dividends. Yeah, it really depends. Like, that's one of the things, and I guess this is kind of one of the I want to call it sort of like the downside to something like an HBTE. So when HBTE really exploded up because of a huge Bitcoin pump, one of the problems with that is people who sort of gave in to fear of missing out and jumping in when it was doing really, really well. Now that it's retracted, people, like, I think people overbought. I think that people overbought quite a bit. And I can understand that. Like, you know, people get really, what's the word for it? Just excited about Bitcoin. Like, I'll tell you right now, like, I have a prediction for Bitcoin in 2026, and it's not to the moon. I actually don't think we're going to, the more I analyze 2026, I don't think we're going to see a full-on crypto winter either. I'm basically looking at, for the most part, I think we're going to be in very familiar ranges in 2026. I'm not going to give everything out right now because there's more into the video, but there might be one pump up a bit, and I mentioned that in the video as well. So, all right, let's leave Bitcoin alone for the moment. Let's see. I watched Wayne Messier Curry, and a few times at Northland's Fun Times. Yeah, probably in person. Probably the biggest hockey person I've seen in person. Now, mind you, we're talking while playing in the NHL, because I've seen some of these. There was, I know in Halifax once they had a whole bunch of the old timers come in, and they sort of, you know, it was almost like the Harlem Globetrotters, but for hockey. And they had a few of the old ones in there, like, oh my God, my mind has gone blank. But they had a lot of the really old guys in there. But in actual NHL play, I think the most famous one that I saw was Patrick Waugh. Because, yeah, I had a friend who wanted to go to Montreal to actually see something in the Forum. I'd never been to the Forum either. So he's like, do you want to go? I was like, yeah, sure, why not? So we went up for a game where they were playing both Friday and Saturday, and they won both games. On the Friday night, they beat the Hartford Whalers, which no longer exists, and then they beat the Boston Bruins the night after. So it was great to go up there, see them win in both. I think Roy played both games, and that did really well. So it was good. It was good, and plus it was kind of cool to be in the Forum now that now the Forum is it's more of a retail space. So what can you say? Cowboy says, put a new house of Bobby Orr rookie cards through the spokes of my bike. 2020 hindsight. Oh gosh, yeah, those will probably sell pretty well. Howie Meeker analyzing plays with a telestrator. Let's see. Yeah, we all did that. Meeker Super Newfie. Is Howie Meeker from Newfoundland? I didn't know this. Sometimes it's averaging down. Sometimes it's throwing good money after bad. Yeah, you have to sort of look at it, and you also have to look at the function. So one of the bad sides with HBTE is when Bitcoin does recover, it's not going to gain everything back. It won't get it all back because there is. I mean, it is an aggressive. It is an aggressive. Um, it's a very aggressive dividend. So for that reason, it's mostly at the money. So pretty much, and here's the thing, even with an at the money, I mean, will you get some growth? Of course you will. The reason you will is that they're not writing covered calls on everything. So that's another little factor just to put it in. So some people might say at the money, but look, it made a bit of growth. Yeah, half of the fund. So if you're doing at the money covered calls on 50% of the fund, the other 50% can still benefit from some of that growth. So if you do have a massive growth, kind of like what we see with Bitcoin, yeah, you can see it go up. You can absolutely see it go up some. But if you think about it this way, if Bitcoin doubles, you might only go up 50%, right? Because the other 50% are at the money, and you're probably not going to do that. But you're still getting the dividends too. So it's a game of math, guys. It's really a game of math. Rory, your bike has Gordie Howe power. Gordie Howe. Yeah, that's who I was trying to remember earlier. Yeah, Gordie Howe was actually one of the people who came in with the old timers. Pudding Grove, you know it's a proper Canadian financial channel when we devolve into hockey talk. I know. It's like hockey. It's time for hockey. My grandma went to school with Gordie Howe. Nice. Nice. See Mario when the Penguins would visit. So Mario Lemieux, absolutely, yeah. I mean, yeah, Mario Lemieux, if he hadn't had back issues, it would have been interesting to see what much more he could have impacted the game. Rory, they were practicing at West Edmonton Mall one day. Okay. Danielle, what's your prediction with utilities? Cover call ETF. I have a lot of UMAX and not impressed these last few months. Okay, so once again, Danielle, UMAX is not, they're not designed for growth. You're not going to get growth with UMAX. Or sorry, UMAX. I was thinking of Utes. I think UMAX is in a similar boat. Let's actually take a look here. I know I prefer Utes to UMAX, but let me pull up here. So this here, yeah, this is the Hamilton one. Boop-a-doop boop. All right. And yeah, they've actually been sinking a little bit. What do they got on a yield here? 14.67%. Yeah, you would think that they would have a bit more growth on this. I have not, like I actually did a video comparing UMAX and Utes not that long ago, I think a few months ago. I feel like this, like, you know, I feel like they're writing, they have to be writing at the money on this one. They have to be, because when you look at utilities in overall, and here, let me show you. I'm going to, let's duplicate that tab, and we'll just go to XUT. This is just a simple ETF, non-covered calls, utilities, just to give you a general idea. All right, XUT, here we go. And we pull up the year, and this is the year that utilities have had. So this is my thing, and I've said this many, many times, but when I have an ETF in a market that is going up, when I have an ETF that's going down, when the market's going up, something is not right, at least for me. For me, it's not something I like. And this is something, to me, this is something I would not like at all. And I don't like this. I don't like this at all. You know, so they're definitely writing at the money. We've still got movement to the downside. So I would have to sort of look and see exactly what they're holding in here again. But if anything, I would say I would rather, at least with Utes, I know I know I'm going straight across. I know I'm not going to make any money. I know it's pure income. And for me, that's perfectly fine. But yeah, this one here, it's sinking more consistency, and I don't like that. I don't like that at all. So I can definitely understand why you have a little bit of concerns with UMAX. So we'll have to see. I would really love to talk to the folks over there at Hamilton, find out what they're thinking on this one. Let's see. Okay, so the distribution is not very stable. Well, it'll be interesting to see, and I'm kind of curious. What have they been doing with this dividend? Here's the thing though. Hamilton's a good company. They are very good at, well, they're good at what they do. They're good at what they do. And a lot of their other funds are managed really, really well. So that's one of the things I find surprising about UMAX. But let's go in here. I'm just kind of curious. I want to take a look at their dividends here. Now, their dividend's a little all over the place, isn't it? So yeah, their dividend has been coming, sort of drifting down, from 1.168 to 0.158. So they've been pulling that back a little bit. So they might get this turned around. They might have to fiddle a little bit, because other thing we have to remember too is, let's go back to the overview and I'll show you here. Let's go to this. So this here is even from the beginning, but this part is understandable. This initial part, yeah, when we had aggressive rate hikes, utilities were coming down. That should be fine. But they are still new. Hopefully they fiddle this, kind of like HYLD. The initial HYLD that came out was not working. They were holding a lot of US ETFs that they had no control over. So they did retool all of that. So hopefully we get some retooling on this one. I'd like to see this turned around a little bit, because this is not, to me, this doesn't impress me. This one does not impress me for sure. All right. A UMAX sounds like that Ferengi War thing. So you've been adding Utes each month as a clean up buy to keep my balance as close to zero as possible. So yeah, there's Utes. I like Utes. Danielle says UMAX is part of HDIV, so I thought it was a good buy since I had HYLD and didn't want to invest in HDIV and HYLD. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. And like I said, this is what we've seen so far with UMAX. I'm not impressed. There's no way I would add it looking at this. So I wouldn't add any more. Like, quite literally, if they can't turn this around, Danielle, I would at the very least put a hold on buying any further. And, maybe if you want exposure to utilities, you might want to consider something like Utes, for example. But this one doesn't impress me. So you think it would be a good thing to keep UMAX because they might revise it? Not necessarily. I want to be clear. I would say that, if you don't have a big exposure in them, like if you've just started sort of getting into UMAX, I would consider maybe another option at that point. Whether or not you sell it, that's completely up to you, because I think that there's a chance. I think there's a chance they could turn this around, but it's not guaranteed. It's really not guaranteed. And sometimes, chances are like unicorns. You just gotta, yeah. I would hope that they would. I know they have good management, but I wouldn't guarantee that they would. So I would kind of look at it that way. Oh boy. Yeah, UMAX, not my favorite. And I know that there are some people out there that love UMAX. I'm just not in that group. I'm not in that group at all, because I have that one rule. Like I said, if the market's moving up and a cover call is going down, it's not a cover call I want. And that's where we are right now with UMAX. So yeah, I would, like I said, if you're just doing it for exposure, then I think, I would maybe look at Utes. It might be a better one. Danielle says I bought UMAX almost a year ago and had a lot of faith. I have a lot, unfortunately. Okay. Well, yeah. If you have a lot, I mean, especially if it's in your TFSA, I would just not. I would definitely not add any more. And I hate to say, like, I don't want to say sell. Like, if there's a chance they could turn around, there is. I would maybe play it out a little bit, see what happens in the beginning. If maybe sort of set up a strategy on, where is my lower tolerance on this one? Because yeah, it's like I said, it's not one I like. I don't like UMax at all. Just right now, I haven't seen anything to make me excited about it. But I hope they turned it around, and they are a newer fund. They're less than 3 years old. Let's hope that they do. You just sort of have to sort of decide on whether or not, where your tolerance is, Let's see. Thank you for your advice. I will wait a bit, but might sell a portion. Yeah, and that's the other thing too, guys. Sometimes it doesn't have to be all or none. You can always sell a little bit for sure. Is MSTE going to be the next $3 stock? I sure hope not. Because I know there's a lot of you carrying that as a bag, and I would love to see a little bit more stability. Now, I do think, and this actually works in MSTE's favor, I do think we're going to see a little bit less volatility in Bitcoin in 2026 than we saw in 2025. So that could make it so hopefully we don't get down to a $3 MSTE. So we'll see what happens. And I know there's people out there right now. There's people out there just stacking like crazy at this cheap price. They may be very happy. They may be. But, once again, it's hard to say. All right. Let's see. Michael says UEC said this: our balance sheet is now even stronger with no debt and over 698 million in cash, uranium inventory, and equities at market prices. Huge fan of uranium. Huge fan of uranium. Let's pull this up. All right, UEC. Here we go. Uranium Energy Corp. All right, so this here, U.S. stock. Let's pull them up here. So you can see, once again, yeah, uranium is going to be volatile. And obviously the fact that Harvest made a single stock ETF over uranium with a pretty good, over CCO, with a pretty good dividend, goes to show that we're going to get a lot of volatility. However, uranium overall, long term, very bullish. I think it's going to be really big. I think it's going to be big down the line. So I like this. And then you got a company like this without any debt. It's fantastic. This will do well. I mean, I do like CCO better because obviously it's Canadian, and it's also Saskatchewan. Saskatchewan has the best uranium in the world. So I do like that. And just to give you a quick reference on that one, but you're going to see it's going to have a similar shape, because this is more the price movement that we're seeing. It's more to do with the actual price of uranium, I think, than the company per se. And here, we'll pull this up here, and you can see, and actually here it's less pronounced because, this is Cogeco. So look at this. They've gone from, Cameco. Cameco. I've been calling them Cogeco. Oh, you're right. That's, never mind. Cogeco is a telecommunication company. 74 to 125. So they've had a great year. I love this company. So yeah. Ian says UMax has been cutting divs as well. I was tempted to get into it now, but the charts don't look good. They don't. So yeah, I wouldn't some people are like, is this the time to get in? Until I see a turnaround, I would say no. So when Hamilton sells more HDIV, they are buying more UMax at the lower price. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you can look at it that way. HDIV itself, keep in mind, and that's the power of something like HDIV. UMax is not a huge component. It's giving it, basically it's giving it some diversification. You know, and I don't even know what the percentage is of UMAX on there. Well, let's take a look. We could take a look here. Let's see. Google HDiv Hamilton. Here we go. All right, HDiv. Here we go. Let's pull it up. All right, there's their performance, all of that fun stuff. All right, overview. This is what I'm looking for. So UMAX, 10%, 10.7% right now. Now this is as at November 28th, right there. So they may, you know, this may, obviously if UMAX keeps doing worse, they may pull it down. See, they've also got this one here as well, HUTS, which is their Enhanced Utilities ETF. Wonder how that one's doing. Let's take a look. HUTS, HUTS. Here we go. All right, let's take a look at this one and see if this one's doing better. Yeah, look at this. So their other ETF, it is doing better. But mind you, this one has 6.437. So you remember what I talked about with ATM and OTM? I bet you this one's OTM. I'd bet you, well, I won't bet anything. I don't like to gamble, but I'll bet you bragging rights. I'll bet you bragging rights. All right. How does MSTE make money? Well, that's all of those premiums. Sounds like some Mike Saylor is a big buyer. I don't think Michael Saylor's buying MSTE. He's got his own agenda. He's got his own agenda. All right, guys. Oh boy, we went a little long today. Hour 52 minutes. So we will of course be back. We won't be here tomorrow. Tomorrow markets are closed. We will be back Friday, and you guys added a Monday show as well today. So fantastic. And of course on Monday you'll have the opportunity to add Tuesday, because we're going to keep the express going until it ends. Simple as that. Just say, Scratch says, it's just that I don't get it nor research it. For what I know, the guy creates debt to buy BTC and expect big returns in the future. That's kind of what he does. You know, there is dilution. There's actually this whole thing called convertible bonds. And, you know, maybe we'll break it down one of these days. We're not going to do it so much right now. All right, guys. So let's go big screen here. All right. Well, once again, this was a fantastic show. You guys rock. I look forward to seeing you all again next year. And, we'll do this all over again. Until then, I only really got one thing to say, and that is, bye-bye.